If Alabama loses by 4, okay, or 3, that's going to be a really damn good football game, okay? But let me ask you the ultimate question. What happens if Bama does win for the playoff? Because I think that Georgia is good enough. I think Georgia has done enough to make the college football playoff.
I think, well, first of all here, if Alabama wins, it's probably a close game. Like there's just realistically,
I
there's
think it's a close game either way. I don't think.
I don't agree with that part, but there's just not enough offensive prowess for Alabama to, put up enough points for this to be a lopsided game. I think that the committee would be crazy to not put 2 SEC teams in if that scenario happened. I think in any world that there's 2 one-loss SEC teams, you have to put both of them in. No matter what. There's no debate. We've seen that in the past. The problem is this year, when Alabama loses, there's too many one-loss teams for a 2-loss team to get in. But again, to reiterate, I think it happens. What year was that? Was that 2021 when Alabama won the SEC championship game?
Both of them in there. Yeah.
They were 2 and 3 or something like that. I forget
no,
what
they were 1 and no, they were
was Bama 1? I forget what the ordering of it was, but I think
what the order was too.
It would fall in line with that because the reality of it is
they're not going to make them play in back-to-back games and back-to-back weeks. Right.
But Georgia has enough nice wins against Missouri, against Tennessee, against
Ole Miss.
Against Ole Miss. Like they've got a nice wins that they belong still as that 3rd or 4th team.
If Alabama wins, is that an automatic if Texas beats Oklahoma State that they're in too?
That one to me is tricky because at the end of the day, Texas has the weakest schedule of the remaining teams in the conversation.
Oh God, yeah. Joe, the only real
their saving grace is Alabama.
Well, here would be the truth. Texas would have knocked off the SEC champion, beaten Oklahoma.
They didn't beat Oklahoma, so that's the problem. Their second hardest game they lost.
Oh yeah, they lost to Oklahoma. That's right.
Their next best win is Kansas State, or Oklahoma State. Those are back end of the top 25 teams. Most would argue don't even really belong in the top 25.
Got to matter. The head-to-head's got to matter.
Okay, the head-to-head matters when you've got similar resumes, though.
But yes, it does, because when you go into somebody's house and you beat them, how are you going to tell Texas that, hey, you're not going to get in because Alabama got better throughout the year? You can't do that. Like if
That's
Washington
fair.
wins, okay, if Florida State wins and Bama wins, how are you going to keep out Texas, who beat them head-to-head? And especially you can't put Georgia in over them because Georgia didn't beat them head-to-head. Like the games have to matter. The games have to matter. You can't just make up your own rules. Now,
that's not making up my own rules. Like we know that what's going to.
I'm talking about the committee. I'm talking about the committee.
Right.
Okay, but here's another truth. Georgia's one of the best 4 teams in the country, and leaving them out would be chaotic.
I think in that world, you'd have to do Georgia, Alabama, Texas, and then just pick the
Pac-12
you'd really.
But then you get to a place where, what if Florida State beats? You know what? Hold on, because this is our whole segment.
No. Let's finish this discussion and then we'll share our predictions, because I'm going to clip both of them. Let's finish this conversation here.
Okay. If Florida State beats Louisville, okay, and you got Washington winning, hell, even if you got Oregon winning, and Georgia is to lose, you cannot put Georgia over Florida State. Now, is Georgia the best team in the country to me? Yes. Do they deserve to be in over Florida State? Yes, they do.
But the resumes are just, you can't. The eye test can't weigh that much. I understand what you're saying.
The best team that Florida State is beating is who? LSU?
Yeah, that's it. I think in this scenario, it's realistically Oregon wins the game and the Pac-12 championship. If Oregon wins the Pac-12 championship, that I think with the chaos that would ensue, that figures the situation out for us, because the committee is going to value the attention of two SEC teams and the quality of their resumes. It's not like they're just putting those two SEC teams in purely for putting them in, but they're going to have played more competitive resumes, one-loss SEC teams. Texas gets in based on the fact that they beat the SEC champion. And then Florida State goes on to be that fourth team because they're undefeated. Oh, wait, what do we do with Michigan? This is impossible.
Yeah,
this is impossible. This is
Michigan.
I have no freaking idea. This is impossible if Georgia loses.
So if Georgia loses, look, Michigan, and here's another scenario, all right? What if Michigan Michigan's not losing.
Yeah, don't even try that.
Bro,
okay, wait.
What if they lost?
That's not going to happen.
It's not
Iowa would need to be in the conversation. Obviously, I'm joking. I think
but Michigan's in. Can I be real with you? I think Georgia's in.
Here's the way that I'm seeing this as I mean, we're just talking through this. This isn't something that like we've really really planned out. As we've talked through this, I think that the most logical thing to do is let's compare the two teams that are fighting for that final spot. The two teams that are fighting for that final spot would be Georgia with one loss in the SEC championship game and a one-loss Texas team that lost to Oklahoma but won the Big 12 championship game. I think that if
it
we
wouldn't
compare
be
those
Alabama,
but
it
I
wouldn't
think
be Alabama and Texas battling it out
for that final spot.
Yeah.
Well, Alabama would have won the SEC championship game, so they would have solidified their position.
Head-to-head.
I think that if Alabama wins, they solidify their positioning and they find their way in the playoff.
All right, we got to do this. Let's get to a quick break, and then we'll talk about this in our projections, because that's how my projections are going to go. All right, let's talk about Sam Kim says, Blake, don't go there. Iowa ? They're not losing to Iowa. I would be shocked if Iowa scored an offensive touchdown, Joe.
They might, man. Don't put them past them.
Shut your mouth. No, they are not. All right.
Make sure you check out BetOnline for all of your sports betting needs. For anything that I do betting related, I go on over to betonline.ag and I use promo code BELIEVE50. BetOnline has all of the latest updated odds for the NFL and college football seasons. Anything you need, whether it's futures, live in-game betting, no matter what, your football betting needs are met at BetOnline. And again, make sure you use that promo code BELIEVE50, BLEAV50, to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.